What's happening, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. We're heading into week 7. We had a lot of stardom sit-em questions in our forum, so we're going to get right into those. We got some that we agree on this week and some that we disagree on. We're going to start with the ones we agree on. This one comes from Madeline DC, or however you want to say it. They want to know Rivers versus Kansas City or Palmer versus Chicago.
Alright, for this one we're going Phillip Rivers, and here's why. The Chargers' back are up against the wall. They really need a win. It's Phillip Rivers' team at this point, and Kansas City is just terrible at passing defense. So look for Rivers to go, hook up with his receivers early and often and get a few touchdowns. Go with Rivers this week. Alright, Dustin, CMC Ginn wants to know Bradshaw versus Arizona, the #1 ranked rushing defense. I know, it's true though. Or Jonathan Stewart versus Buffalo.
This one is tough. Now, Arizona might be statistically the #1 rush defense, but we still don't think they are the best run defense in the league. So that being said, we don't hate Bradshaw's matchup this week, but we just love Jonathan Stewart. They're going up against Buffalo, is one of the worst teams against the run. And we just really think Carolina's going to really try to get their running game going again this week like they did last week. And look for Stewart to get around 15 touches and maybe over 100 yards and a touchdown again. Alright, Brent, this one comes from Patriots. They want to know Miles Austin versus Atlanta or Dwayne Bowe versus San Diego.
Alright, I think Bowe is the safer play here, but first let me start with this. Miles Austin's owners, if you think he's going to do 250 and 2 touches every week, that's not going to happen now because he's in the starting lineup. So that's why I want to go Bowe here. I want to give Austin another week to see what he does. For me, Bowe's going to San Diego, which is the 25th ranked passing defense. And like I said earlier, I think they're going to be down, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So I like Dwayne Bowe this week.
Well, I do think Bowe might be the safer play, but I think Miles Austin has a much higher ceiling. Now, I don't think anyone's putting him in their lineup thinking they're going to get 250 yards and 2 touchdowns out of him, but I think Miles Austin has a much better chance of getting over 100 yards and a touchdown than Dwayne Bowe this week. Atlanta's pass defense is not that good. Look for Austin to be a good play from here on out.
Alright, Dustin, Saints fan 1988 wants to know Leon Washington versus Oakland or Maroney versus Tampa Bay. And I'm going to be on the side of Maroney for this one. Sammy Morris didn't even make the trip across the pond, so I think Maroney's going to be the guy out there. And Tampa Bay's 31st against the run, so I look for Maroney to have a pretty good day.
Alright, well, I'm going with Leon on this one, and here's why. I know I'm not the only one that's been burned by a Patriot running back in the past, where you think they're going to get a majority of the carries, and they're pulling all these guys off the bench and giving carries to everyone, and all of a sudden the guy you started only got 50% of the carries. I think Maroney is probably going to get the bulk of the carries this week, but I think Leon's going to be able to get involved against a weak Oakland run defense, and I also think Leon's going to get involved in the passing game. So if you're in a PPR league, I would definitely go with Leon Washington, and even in a standard league, I'd give Leon Washington the slight edge. Alright, let's get into our studs, duds, and sleepers. I'll start out with my guys. My stud might surprise some people, but I'm going with Greg Jennings. I think he finally has a breakout game against Cleveland. My dud is McNabb. Every single Redskins game has just been a slow-paced, low-scoring game. I don't think McNabb is going to blow up this week. And my sleeper is Collie out there with the Colts. Doesn't look like Gonzalez is going to play this week, so look for Collie to take advantage and have another big game.
Alright, my stud's going to be Vincent Jackson. It's kind of been my theme of the show. I think the Chargers are going to play really well against the Chiefs, and Jackson's going to be a part of that. For my dud, I'm going with Steven Jackson. Now, I'm not saying bench him, but I think a lot of his owners are going to be looking at an Indy matchup, and they're historically bad against the run, so they're going to think big things for Jackson. Indy's not that bad against the run this year. And my sleeper is going to be Vernon Davis. Last time I picked him when a lot of tight ends were on buys, he got 2 touchdowns for me. I'm doing it again this week.
Alright, now let's take a look at Michael's. He phoned in his picks. His stud is going to be Wes Welker. The running backs are banged up out there. He thinks Welker has a big game. His dud is Mendenhall. He's not convinced that Mendenhall is going to have a good game against Minnesota's D. We do think he gets the majority of the carries, but don't expect big things out of him. And his sleeper is Breston. There's a good chance Bolden won't play this week, which will really boost Breston's value. He's going to be a good start if Bolden's out. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back Tuesday night for the Waiver Wire Show. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. Good luck this week.